Cubs starter Mike Morgan this afternoon has had a lot of success over his career in Wrigley Field. Uses the high infield grass to his advantage. He's a sinker baller, throws the ball down in the strike zone, gets a lot of ground balls, and of course, as you know, the grass in Wrigley Field usually very long and sucks up those ground balls. So Morgan has been effective in Wrigley Field over the course of his career.
Just getting the announcement now that the game time temperature is 41 degrees, which isn't that bad, but with the wind chill factor, it's 20.
Ooh. Oh.
That hurts. Here's Lenny Dykstra to lead it off, and he rolls one to the second baseman. Vizcaíno plays over to first. Not all that often do we see Lenny swing at the first pitch of the ball game, but he did here, and Vizcaíno makes the play, one down. Wind from the northwest, 16 miles per hour. So one pitch and one out, and that'll bring to the plate Mickey Morandini. Mickey batting at .240 with a homer, 2 runs batted in. Third baseman Buechele is shallow, and Mickey takes a called strike. That's Harry Wendelstedt, one of the league's veteran umpires, calling balls and strikes, and you take a look at the positioning of Buechele. One ball and one strike on Mickey. Jim Fregosi says it's not a platoon at second base, but it's just so happened so far that every time there's been a right-hander, Morandini has started, and a couple of times there's been a left-hander, Duncan's been there. Play to left field, over comes May. Darren Dalton had an influence on the first pitch here today, wouldn't you say, Teak?
I believe so.
Lynn Austin.
Darren's wife throws the first pitch. Now this is not normal. Normally, first of all, the home team catcher gets the honor of doing the first pitch, and you also usually don't get to give the kiss to the person who threw the first pitch. Taking advantage of a situation a little bit by Dutcher.
Later on, they had a second opening pitch, and Rick Wilkins was out to receive that. John Kruk homered off Morgan at Veterans Stadium last Saturday. Kruk has 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in, and he's 4th in the league in hitting, and he's the top 2-base hitter in the league. He's got 6 doubles. Another play for May. He goes back, leaps up off his glove and in play. Kruk's going to have another double. That'll be his 7th. A 2-base hit for Kruk. May banged up a little bit after hitting that brick wall out there.
We see Derek May going back on the ball here, leaps. Looks like he plants his knee right into the wall. Now, normally the ivy on the wall will give you a little bit of padding. It's kind of the natural padding that they have here in Wrigley Field. Of course, this early in the year, there are no leaves in that ivy. There's nothing but the vines, and May goes hard with that knee into the outfield wall. Looks like he's going to be all right, but those bricks are fairly well exposed at this time of the year with no leaves on the ivy.
Well, that'll be a 2-base hit for Kruk, his 7th of the year, and it brings to the plate Dave Hollins. According to our good friend Whitey Ashburn, that ivy doesn't help a whole lot, even in July. Hollins batting at .250, no home runs, 4 runs batted in. And Teak, I think one of the amazing things about the start of the Phillies is that they have really done most of what they have done without a whole lot of help from the cleanup hole. I mean, you'd have to say that Hollins really isn't off to a good start.
No, after having an outstanding spring, David a little slow getting out of the gate, and you look at what the Phillies have done so far offensively. They've been very, very average. You expect the Phillies to score a lot of runs. They have scored runs, but not the big bunches that you would have expected coming out of spring training. They've done it with pitching and defense, and of course, most winning ball clubs, when you have teams that are successful over a long period of time, the pitching and the defense is the one constant that keeps you there. The offense is just a little bit of extra show.
Fouled away over toward Jim Fregosi. You got to look at Jim in the dugout. He comes back home here in a sense. He was one-time manager of the Chicago White Sox. Jim was kidding before the ball game. Somebody said, "You're a land baron." He said, "I'd be a land baron if I kept a home every place where I had managed."
You go into the manager's office, in Jimmy's office before the ball game, a lot of old friends are in there. A lot of the people he's met over the years in Chicago, and it's usually a pretty good crowd.
And he knows how to entertain with the best of them.
Oh, yes.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Dave Hollins. The Phillies took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs last weekend at Veterans Stadium, and indeed that loss to Chicago on the Phillies home opener is the only loss the Phillies have suffered. Meantime, the Cubs are off to a pretty good start themselves. Their record is 4-5, but 4 of their 5 losses have been by 1 run. Dave works a full count. Hollins has a .348 lifetime average against Morgan, including a pair of home runs. Dalton is on deck. Darren currently the National League's home run leader. You can see your breath today. Fouls it back. Mike Morgan's an interesting story, Tiki. He's really a guy who has persevered. He never had a winning season until 1991. All those years he was a losing pitcher, and his career record even today is not what you'd call good. He's 83 and 114.
One of those guys that you'd watch him pitch and you could just never figure out why he wasn't winning, because he's always had good stuff, just was not able to win with it.
Ball 4. 2 on with 2 outs.
You know, Morgan falls a lot into the same category. You know, you looked at Jose De Leon for all those years when he was starting, and he just couldn't come up with a winning record. But you see the stuff that he takes to the mound, and you couldn't understand why. Morgan in exactly that same category.
Here's Darren Daulton. Leads the National League with 4 home runs, tied for the RBI leadership with 10. And needless to say, the Phillies have been doing a lot of scoring with 2 outs. Darren Daulton loves to hit here at Wrigley Field. This is also the field, he reminded me before the game, where he once struck out 5 times in one game. But
normally you put those kind of things out of your mind. You don't, especially you don't tell people about them.
He's got an interesting story about that day. Swings and misses here. I'll tell you about it as we go along. Got 2 outs here, so it's not a good time to start something like that. But you take away that one day, and his career average in this ballpark would be tremendous. Ball and a strike on Darren. He, by the way, spent all day yesterday in suburban Boston undergoing a physical. He was supposed to go see the Red Sox team physician, Dr. Pappas. He said, I spent about 3 minutes with him and about 5 hours undergoing other kinds of tests. Two on and 2 out as the Phillies try to get off to a quick start here at Wrigley Field. Good eye to take that pitch. Last year, the Phillies won only 3 games at Wrigley Field as you check out Jim Lefevre and his pitching coach Billy Connors. Phillies were 3-6 here, split the season series with the Cubs 9-9. Morgan gets that one by him.
3 balls and 1 strike. You're supposed to have to give up a little bit of the strike zone. Morgan does not. He goes right knee high on the outside corner with a good tailing, sinking fastball. By all rights, you're not supposed to be able to make a pitch like that on a 3-1 count.
Well, that's true, and you're right about that ball having movement. If he's got movement like that all day, he's going to be tough. Runners go, and the pitch is ball 4. They are loaded with Phillies. Morgan, in his career, has walked 2.6 batters per 9 innings. Here he's walked 2 in the first and goes to Milt Thompson now.
So he's got, what, about a 3-ball count left, and that's it. He's done for the day.
According to the averages. Well, here's Milt batting .227, no homers, 3 runs batted in. Thompson went 0 for 2 off Morgan at the vet last Saturday and is only 176 in his career, so you can see why Morgan didn't give in to Daulton. Veteran pitchers can see their way out of trouble, even if it means pitching with the bases loaded.
You have to have a lot of confidence in your ability to go get the next guy, and you have to be able to make some pitches, and Morgan, of course, jumps right out in front with a strike on Thompson.
Milt hits a comebacker. Morgan leaps and grabs and gets out of the inning. So the Phillies leave them loaded. No runs, 1 hit, and 3 men left. End of the half inning. Phillies nothing, and the Cubs coming up.
There was one thing about Bud that we kept hearing over and over.
Now that's fresh beer.
Huh?
Okay, let's say this is the original Budweiser brewery in St. Louis. There's another one in Texas.
And 2 more in Florida.
New York, California, New Jersey.
Over a dozen of them.
So Budweiser doesn't have to truck their beer clean across the country.
So you know it's fresh.
Right.
Is that my beer in New Jersey?
May I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'll have a Coca-Cola.
You sure you want a Coke?
Yeah, I want a Coke.
Okay, pal.
How did you order a Coke?
It tastes good.
I didn't care if it was a Coke. You just
I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola.
Need a drink, sir?
I'll just have a...
You'll just have a... I'll just have a Coke. Ooh.
You're the guys of Coca-Cola.
See ya, pal.
Oh.
Here's the Cubs lineup today. Willie Wilson leads off and plays center. Ray Sanchez is the shortstop. Then Mark Grace, first baseman. Cleanup hitter and left fielder is Derek May, batting fifth. Sammy Sosa in right, batting sixth. Third baseman Steve Buechele, batting seventh. Second baseman Jose Vizcaino. Batting eighth is the catcher Steve Lake, and batting ninth is the right-hander Mike Morgan.
And defensively for the Phillies this afternoon, John Kruk at first base, Mickey Morandini at second, Juan Bell at short, and David Hollins at third. Milt Thompson in left, Lenny Dykstra in center, Wes Chamberlain in right, Darren Dalton doing the catching, and on the mound, 30-year-old left-hander Terry Mulholland. Terry off to just an outstanding start this year, 2-0 with a microscopic 0.53 earned run average.
The only guy better in the whole league is Jose Guzman, who hasn't given up an earned run.
And the reason why Terry has got off to such a great start, he's pitched 17 innings, only given up 7 hits and 1 walk. So he's made the opposition has only earned 8 base runners in 17 innings. You're not going to give up many runs that way.
Terry will dig a little clay out of his spikes before we get started here. Field's in good shape here at Wrigley Field. They have resodded. It's all new grass again this season. Well, Willie Wilson was off to a good start for the Cubs his first year in a Chicago uniform, but now he's just 2 for his last 18. You got to say, though, Teak, these Cubs have played tough teams, tough pitchers in every game so far. All their games to date have been against the Phillies and the Braves.
Phillies and the Braves are 2 top pitching staffs in the National League when you look at the starting pitching. There was an article in the paper this morning in the Tribune. Listen to the pitchers that they have faced, the starting pitchers. Steve Avery twice, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Pete Smith. This is Terry Mulholland for the second time, Kurt Schilling, and Ben Rivera. That's your first 10 games.
There's a base hit for Wilson. Willie Wilson starts it for the Cubs with a softly struck single to left field. He's aboard. Terry Mulholland gives up a hit. Terry on Saturday against the Cubs gave up only 3 hits in 8+ innings. Ray Sanchez batting at 189. Sanchez the shortstop. Sean Dunston, of course, is on the disabled list with a bad back. A back that had surgery last year and did not totally respond in spring training. And frankly, the Cubs don't know when he'll be back, or when and if, I guess you should put it.
Yeah, back injuries are a strange thing. There's really no way. Arms, you get an idea of what, how the progress is going to be. Backs, very, very difficult. You don't know how they're going to respond. Each player is different as far as his response to that type of an injury.
Here's a little soft toss. They got a chance for 2. Dropped. Safe. Everybody safe. Well, I don't know really whether it would have been a double play ball, but certainly they would have had the runner at second base. Terry Mulholland committed a throwing error in his last game against the Cubs. It caused his downfall. There is no error charged here. It is simply going to be a fielder's choice. But the net result is the Cubs have 2 on without anybody out.
The scorer's ruling is that the runner would have beat the play to second base here. Pretty difficult play for Terry in the fact that being left-handed, he's moving away from second base. He has to throw in an awkward off-balance position. We see there Wilson was in before the throw at second base, so rightfully called a fielder's choice.
Mark Grace hit a home run off Mulholland at Veterans Stadium, and Terry sneaks that by him. Grace batting .429. He has an 8-game hitting streak. He is 12 for his last 22, and when he homered off Terry in the 9th inning on Saturday night, Jim Fregosi emerged from the dugout and brought Mitch in. And what did Mitch do, Teak?
Bing, bang, bong.
3 straight strikeouts, all swinging.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Get out of here.
Now, the writers down in Jim's office this morning said, Jim, how'd you get Mitch Williams to do what he's doing? And Jim goes, shh.
Don't let him know he's doing anything different.
Sharply hit. Off the glove of Kruk, rolling into the bullpen. Wilson's going to score. Sanchez being waved around. Sanchez is going to score. The ball comes over to third. It's 2-0 Cubs. A double by Grace and a 9-game hitting streak.
Mark Grace continues to swing the hot bat for the Chicago Cubs. Coming in the game hitting .429 here, pounds the ball down the first base line. Kruk does a nice job of diving, trying to knock it down, just could not quite get it on the inside part of the glove. Hits off the very tip of his glove, and that slows the ball down even more and really kills it out in the bullpen. Gives Sanchez a chance to score all the way from first base.
Grace with RBIs number 8 and 9. The Cubs have 2 on the board, and there are no outs as yet. Derek May comes to the plate. May hit a home run off Terry Mulholland in that game at the vet as well.
You know, you look at this first inning, the way it's starting out for Terry Mulholland, it makes you think back to his lifetime record here in Wrigley. He has not been impressive at all. 2-4 with 11.18 earned run average in career in Wrigley Field.
Boy, I tell you what, and he's not alone having numbers like that. There are a whole lot of pitchers who have ugly numbers when you talk about their appearances just here at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Wrigley Field can inflate a whole lot of things. The only thing it deflates is your ego.
Matter of fact, Teague, I think the Cubs have gone out over the years and acquired certain pitchers who have shown that they can pitch well in this ballpark. I think that's one of the things they look for.
Well, they do. You know, you look at their acquisitions and the guys that they've picked up. Most of them have the good hard sinker. You know, you have to keep the ball on the ground in Wrigley Field, and they go out and get guys that have that ability.
Here's a ball that's going to drop in left field. Let's see what happens to Grace. He'll score. It is 3-0 Chicago on a single by May, and there are still no outs. The fielder's choice play, of course, really hurt. 3-0 Cubs. May getting his 9th run batted in.
Johnny Padres making his way out to the mound. Mark Grace getting high fives around the dugout. Notice at the back of the Cubs uniforms this year, they have the names on the back of the uniforms. It's something that they've added. There's been tradition before to keep the names off. Here we see the pitch by Mulholland. Actually a good pitch down and out of the strike zone. May just able to put the bat on the ball and flick it out into left field. It was a good pitch, the kind of pitch you would throw thinking you're going to get the ground ball, but May able to just loop it over Dave Holland's head into short left field. Of course, the grass sucks it up again, and Mark Grace scores easily from second base.
Stepping into the box, Sammy Sosa. He's been hot lately and has his average up to .324. Sosa went 0 for 3 against Mulholland Saturday. Outside, ball 1. Well, I think this is typical of the Cubs, though. They are a different team when you get them in your park as opposed to when you play them here at Wrigley.
Well, they're a club that's designed to play in Wrigley Field. We mentioned already the pitchers that they pick up are designed to pitch here, and the offensive players are much better players in this ballpark. They take advantage of the long grass. They take advantage of the short porches. You know, they just gear their whole style. The ones that are really, really successful and the ones that are consistent both at home and on the road, the Ryan Sandbergs, the Mark Graces, are guys that actually have 2 different approaches. They play the game one way in Wrigley Field, but yet when they go to the visiting park, say the Veterans Stadium, they have a whole different approach to hitting.
Boy, and that's not easy to do, is it?
No, it's not easy to change in midstream.
Sosa tries to go with that pitch and fouls it away. Still no out, so they're back to fundamental baseball here and trying to hit behind the runner. Sosa over from the Chicago White Sox last year. Had an injury marred first season in a Cubs uniform. Two balls and 2 strikes on Sosa. Shaky start for Terry Mulholland, who, as Teague mentioned, came in with a 0.53 earned run average and has given up 3 earnies without getting an out. Well, Sosa could not get any contact there, and he's walking slowly back to the dugout as Terry Mulholland claims his first victim.
Would be nice right here to get a double play and get out of this inning and get the first inning over with. It's not been a pretty one to start with, and you know, Buechele, a candidate for a double play if you can get him on the ground, because he does not get down the line in a hurry.
I was going to say, is that why you mentioned that? Because we've seen this guy grind into quite a few double plays. Steve is hitting at 200. Steve saying before the game that he thinks all of the Cub hitters are trying to do too much on their own. And I guess that's you know, a symbol of a team that has not had a good offensive start. Chasing Derek May back.
Well, that has a tendency to happen. We mentioned the starting pitchers that they've seen. That has a tendency to happen when you're up against a top pitcher, because you figure there's not going to be a whole lot of opportunities. Maybe if I can get one out of the ballpark real quick, we can get a run. The chances against, you know, the Averys, the Mulhollands, the Schmaltzes, the Maddoxes of putting together 3 or 4 hits in a row are pretty slim. So you have a tendency to want to do that, do it on your own.
And they're going to continue to see good pitching. They've got Schilling and Danny Jackson to face each of the next 2 days. Out into right center field. On comes Chamberlain. Makes the play. That's the second out of the inning. May goes back to first. 2 outs now, and Jose Vizcaíno. Jose with a home run at Veterans Stadium. He's had 7 runs batted in 8 games for the Cubs. Filling in for Ryne Sandberg.
I was looking in the notes the other day, and I was looking at stats, and Vizcaíno is, I can't figure this out. The guy's got 7 RBIs. He's tied for second on the club with Mark Grace. But he's hitting 167. Now, how do you, I mean, you can't hit that many sacrifice flies.
He's gotten them when it's counted.
How's he getting them? I mean, he must be getting them in bunches.
Well, you can get them on ground out sometimes, too. And he got 3 on that one swing on his home run at Veterans Stadium. 1-0 to Vizcaíno, filling in for Ryne Sandberg. Got a medical update on Sandberg today, and they had x-rays of his left hand, showed that the 5th metacarpal continues to heal, and Ryne is going to be able to begin more baseball specific work for the first time since the injury. And there's Rhino. He injured that hand back on March 5th. On the bottom of this news release about Sandberg, it says Cubs trainer John Fierro was admitted to Northwestern Memorial Hospital this morning due to the possibility of kidney stones. Makes the force out at second base, and that'll take care of the Cubs. But they have a good start today as Chicago gets 3 in the first on 3 hits. 1 man left on base. At the end of an inning, it's 3-0 Cubs.
There's a new feeling sweeping the state, peace of mind. Because now people who couldn't afford health coverage can get special care from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. It's the most affordable coverage available to families and individuals who earn too much for Medicaid but can't afford coverage on their own. If you're uninsured, your peace of mind is just a phone call away. Call 1-800-248-5200.
People who go to a Phillies game have fun, and the ones who seem to have the most fun are the ones who get full or part season tickets. They know they've got good seats, so they don't have to scramble or wait in line. Get the best seats with the least hassle with full or part season tickets. And you can get guaranteed box seats for 13 games for just $130. For more information on all the 1993 season ticket plans, call 463-5000.
No.
Cento Italian Food Products is rooting for the Phillies this season. For every Phillies home run, Cento will donate $200 to the Philadelphia Child Guidance Clinic. Nutritional information can be found on all Cento labels. 3-0 Cubs at the end of an inning today. Phillies left them loaded, and the Cubs were finding the holes. And they've got 3, and it's a chilly day here at Chicago, and some of the players are wearing the parkas that are available for the first time this year, and certainly the fans are dressed for the weather. We do not by any means have a large crowd at Wrigley today.
Well, you can get a seat right behind home plate in a pretty good location without too much problem today. In fact, you can get a seat just about anywhere you want one in the ballpark today.
That congested crowd shot we had was where else? The bleachers. They love it in the bleachers here at Wrigley. And we go to the Phillies second, and Wes Chamberlain is the leadoff hitter. Wes coming back home. He's from the Chicago area. Wes hitting at .227. Been starting to get some big hits for the Phillies. Bottom third, Chamberlain, Bell, and Mulholland. 1-1. Cubs play him as a pull hitter. Center fielder Willie Wilson really pulled into the gap in left center. Morgan buzzes him inside. It's 2-1.
We mentioned earlier about Darren Daulton liking to hit in Wrigley Field. Now his career's been a little longer, but Wes Chamberlain doesn't mind it too much either. He's hitting .308 in this ballpark over his career with 4 home runs. So this is by far his best road ballpark.
Two and 2 on Wes.
And that was not an attempt to dunk a single into right field.
No, it wasn't.
2 balls and 1 strike. Wes had it wound up.
Wes just turned 27 on the 13th. Two and 2 on Chamberlain, leading off the Phillies second. Puts it in play. Scooped up by Buechele. He'll have no throw. That's an infield single by Chamberlain. That's not what he had in mind, and he swung at a bad pitch, but he gets a base hit.
Wes fooled by a breaking ball out of the strike zone by Morgan. Just trying to get his bat on the ball. Actually reaches out. Well, he did keep both hands on the bat, but he nubs it down the third base line. Steve Buechele, with 2 strikes, was playing back. By the time he got in and got his hands on the ball, had no chance to make a throw to first base.
Actually, that's a pretty smart play by Buechele to just stick it in his pocket there, because he could have thrown that ball away. That's the only thing he could have done with it.
Yeah, there was no chance of getting Chamberlain at first.
The batter is Juan Bell. Takes outside, ball 1. You mentioned that Bell's been coming to life lately. Has 4 hits in his last 8 at bats after going 2 for 18 to start the year.
There have been contributions from many different directions early in this 1993 season on the Philly Ball Club, and Juan Bell's offensive contribution is something that you weren't really counting on when the season started. You wanted to just have him go out there and play that good solid defense every day, which he has done since the first ball game. So that's been one of the pluses.
Up and down the lineup, Phillies have taken turns having different heroes, and even the pitchers are getting some hits, and certainly Phillies pinch hitters have done a good job. They're 3 for 8 already. Bell took an 0 for 3 against Morgan at the Vet on Saturday, and is 0 for 5 in his career against Morgan. Ground ball hit toward Vizcaino. He wants to tag the runner, never did, but they've got a chance at him anyway. And Chamberlain in a rundown and tagged out by Vizcaino. So they get the unorthodox double play. They got the first out at first and then get Chamberlain in the rundown. But Bell is safe, is he?
Bell is safe at first base, right. And the Cubs really messed up the play, because once Bell is called safe at first base, Chamberlain is a force out at second base. All they have to do is go tag the bag. Here we see Vizcaino cuts the ball off, cuts Chamberlain off. Wes wisely stays out of play. Now the throw to first base is not in time. Bell is called safe. Now at this point, Chamberlain has to go to second base, but the Cubs, instead of just tagging the bag for the force out, continue to run Wes down in the rundown. The only thing they did there was give themselves an opportunity to throw the ball away.
Well, they sure did that the hard way. So here's Mulholland trying to put down the sacrifice bunt, and he does get a good bunt down. So Terry Mulholland does his job, getting Bell down to second base with 2 outs. Nice job of sacrificing by Mulholland.
You have to do the little things when you're a pitcher in this game, and being able to get the sacrifice bunt down, very important, especially in a game like this where you're already down 3 runs in the first inning. You want to try to get 1 on the board, try to get a little bit of that momentum back.
Lenny Dykstra steps in. Lenny, on the first pitch of the ball game, grounded out to second base. Scoring on that play where Chamberlain was run down, 4-6-3-6-4.
Unnecessary.
And Lenny is really unhappy about that. He can't believe that call. Cubs are ahead 3-0. We are in the top of the second. Socks the ball toward Willie Wilson. Dykstra lines out, and the Phillies have been retired in the second. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second, 3-0 Chicago.
My Uncle Ernie loves the Phillies, but he's such a lousy driver, he could never make it to the vet to see him play. He even got his insurance canceled trying. So to get Uncle Ernie off the road and into Veterans Stadium, we got him Prism.
Kruk, Dykstra, Dalton, the Phillies are gearing up for an exciting season, and Prism has 45 games from Veterans Stadium. To order Prism, dial 1-800-CABLE-ME. Call now and get installation for only $4.95 or a free upgrade.
I can't believe Uncle Ernie makes his living as a driving instructor.
I remember last year, honey, when we were moving.
Right.
Well, she called us and said if we put both our new house and car policies with her, we would save money.
Well, we have so many choices at Nationwide, and my job is to make you aware of your options.
She was always there with an answer.
That's the way we're trained, to be very knowledgeable and to be there when people really need you the most. And that's important.
Agents like Margaret are Nationwide.
Nationwide is on your side.
Even though the Phillies home season is underway, it is not too late to buy Phillies season tickets. It's always the most convenient, most hassle-free way to see the team. And you can get some for as few as $130 to see 13 home games. The Phillies have all kinds of different packages, all kinds of different ticket plans. So call for all the information. Call 215-463-5000 and check on Phillies season tickets. We move to the bottom of the second. Cubs are leading the Phillies 3-0, and here's Cubs catcher Steve Lake making his second start of the year. Rick Wilkins is off to a rocky offensive start, plus he is a left-handed batter, so Lake getting a chance to catch today, and probably not a bad idea because Lake certainly knows about the Philly hitters, having been with the Phils last year.
Steve, of course, saw the entire season last year, most of the Philly hitters. Now, some of the new guys he may have a little problem with.
Scooped up, it's in play. Hollins picked it off the dirt, throws him out. Lake hit a bullet to Hollins, but he's out.
And Lake was of the opinion that Hollins caught the ball on a fly. But third base umpire Larry Vanover says no, he didn't. He short hopped it. Pitched down and on the inside part of the plate. Hollins does catch the ball on the short hop. Now he comes up and looks, and Lake's not running, so he takes a little extra skip before he throws it over to John Kruk at first base. So score that one 5-3.
In steps Mike Morgan, Cubs pitcher, 0 for 4, having struck out 3 of those 4 at-bats this year. Morgan is a 100 lifetime hitter. He's still looking for his first extra base hit. He's got 26 hits, all singles. He's not running hard enough.
Or not hitting them far enough. I know that feeling. Also not hitting them often enough.
Got to be tough for a relief pitcher. You were a relief pitcher your entire career. You never get any consistent at-bats. At least as a starter, you can put together sometimes 3 and 4 ball games.
I always looked at that as a bonus. The fact that I didn't have to go up there, because it was embarrassing.
Trying to tell me you were not used as a pinch hitter, huh?
No, nor a pinch runner.
1-2 on Morgan. And he strikes out again. That's 5 at-bats and 4 strikeouts. Terry Mulholland picks up his second strikeout of the game. Willie Wilson got that messy first inning underway with a single to left field. Didn't hit it very hard, but just put it out there in left field, and he came around to score the day's first run. Takes a strike. Talking about the wind blowing out to right today and how that might benefit the Phillies. The reason is they have a left-handed pitcher and the Cubs have a right-handed pitcher.
Phillies was many more left-handed bats in the lineup than the Cubs. Although in the first inning we saw John Kruk go against the wall in left field going against the wind. So.
And 2 of the Cubs' best hitters are left-handed. We can talk about Grace and May. Ball and 2 strikes on Wilson. Willie played at Veterans Stadium last weekend for the first time since the 1980 World Series, when he was just a young player and played with Kansas City, and was the final out of the Phillies' 6th and final game. Nice play by Bell. Beautiful over to first base, and 1-2-3 go the Cubs in the second. At the end of 2, 3-0 Chicago.
Budweiser, king of beers.
Big games. Monday, April 26th at 7:35, and Tuesday afternoon, April 27th at 12:35. It's the first business person special. And Barry Bonds, Will Clark, and the Giants come to town. Call 463-1000.
Saturday, the 24th of April, Phillies meet the Dodgers at 7:05. And all the fans 14 and under are going to get a Phillies baseball card book, including some Phillies baseball cards, free compliments of Donruss. Make your plans early and mark your calendar now, and then order your tickets easily by phone by calling 215-463-1000 or stop by one of the many local Ticketmaster locations. The date again, April 24th, and the Phillies meet the LA Dodgers. Darryl Strawberry and Eric Davis, Dodgers counting heavily on them this year, but they're off to a really slow start offensively.
And both of them were actually benched the other day. Tommy Lasorda put them both on the bench. I think probably more try to give them a wake-up call than anything else, because Tommy knows that, you know, if he's going to have any kind of a season at all out there, he needs those two guys in the lineup and producing. Being in the lineup and not producing is not enough. They have to have them out there on the field every day and putting some numbers up on the board for the Dodgers.
Well, if you're just joining us by those crowd shots, you know it's a cool day here at Wrigley Field.
Cool?
Cool. Whew. Mickey Morandini fights off a pitch inside. Well, let's be specific. 41 degrees, but with a wind chill factor, it's 20.
That's cold. That's not cool.
But you're sitting here in a short sleeve shirt up in our booth.
And they're not. Out on the rooftops.
Not in the booth, no. Morandini in his first at bat lined out to left field. Mickey, as has been his custom since 2/3 of the way through last season, choking up on the handle of that bat. It's really made a difference in the way he puts the ball in play. Look at Grace. Terrific play by Grace. Morgan is there. Morandini slides, but he's out. That was a sensational play.
Mark Grace is not only a tremendous offensive player, a great defensive player. Here you see him stretched out completely, very similar to the ball that went off of John Kruk's glove. Grace just able to get the ball in the webbing of his glove, get it to Morgan in time to beat the sliding Morandini at first base. So, you know, when you can play defense like that, you get a little smile on your face every once in a while when you make one of those plays.
Won the Gold Glove last year, taking it away from Will Clark for the first time. That was a dangerous slide by Morandini. You can jam something on a slide like that. John Kruk has doubled. He has the league lead in doubles with 7. Hit the ball off the glove of Derek May in left field, simultaneous with May slamming into the bricks. Oh, 2 on Kruk. Kruk this year now off Morgan is 3 for 3. One of those hits a home run. When a hitter does that kind of damage against one pitcher, it has to be in the pitcher's mind, wouldn't you think, Teague?
Well, you know who those guys are.
This time Morgan wins his first strikeout of the afternoon. He gets John Kruk.
And Morgan goes a little bit out of his norm. Normally he's a sinker ball pitcher away. Here with 2 strikes and no balls, he goes to the overhand curveball on the inside part of the plate. Has John way out in front. John not looking for this pitch at all. And you can tell by the way his reaction right now, there was no way at all that he was looking for a breaking ball on that pitch. He was looking for a fastball out over the plate or out off the plate away. So John has to take a seat.
And Dave Hollins is the hitter. Takes a pitch high, ball 1. Hollins drew a walk in his first plate appearance. Hollins has had good luck lifetime off Morgan, but not this year. He's 0 for 4 this year, but 348 lifetime, including a pair of home runs. Talking with hitting coach Dennis Menke the other day, he was telling me that Hollins, they feel, is a little back on his heels, trying to get him up and a little bit more balanced at the plate so he can attack the ball. There's Dennis Menke, and he ever study those hitters? Look at him.
Look at those eyes.
Doesn't miss a thing.
Now you think that hitting coaches only work with players during batting practice, but they're watching all the time during the game, trying to see little things that happen.
Breaking ball for a called third strike. Morgan using that breaking ball to his advantage in the inning. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. Go 1, 2, 3, and now we go to the bottom half with the Cubs ahead 3-0.
Baseball. Phillies baseball. Dykstra, Dalton, Hollins, Kruk. The home team. The home field. Comedy. Fatal Passion. Material Girls. True Love. Paths to Freedom. The best movie of the year. Home Team Sports. Great movies. Prism. One channel. 1 month. 1 call. Make it now.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beer, to remind you friends know when to say when. Your Quality Plus Ford dealers who invite you to come in and test drive the brand new 1993 Pro. Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. Your Nationwide agent and ambler is Frank Canizero. Wrigley Field, Chicago, on a very brisk spring afternoon. Phillies and the Chicago Cubs. We were in Houston when the Cubs had their opening series, so we were able to watch their games on the Super Channel, and so we know for a fact that the Cubs haven't had a really good day weather-wise for a game yet this year.
No, normally early in the year you're going to have bad weather in Wrigley Field. The proximity to the lake. The odd thing about today is that the wind is blowing out to right field. Normally early in the year with the weather coming in off the lake, you get a lot of the wind blowing in. Today, one of those rare days, probably some kind of a front. In this case, knowing what's going on out there, a cold front that's coming in. It is moving the wind out toward the lake.
Check those flags. They are always in the exact order of the standings of that particular day. They do a terrific job here at Wrigley Field. Sanchez reached on a fielder's choice. There was a runner at first at the time, and Terry got a comebacker to the mound and tried to make the play at second, but missed late. Now, that was all part of a big 3-run first for the Cubs, and they sit atop this game 3-0 at this point. So technically Sanchez is 0 for 1, and now he's got himself a base hit. Sanchez on a half swing single to right field gets a hit to start the third. Chicago hit number 4.
Now you go into that dangerous part of the Cub lineup again. Mark Grace and Derek May. So this is the part of the lineup that did the damage in the first game. Terry's going to have to bear down here, or else this game could get opened up early.
Grace had the biggest single blow of the inning, a 2-run double off the glove of Kruk. Chases a high pitch. Speaking of the dangerous part of the Cub order, you always used to think of Andre Dawson. Nice to see the Hawk got his 400th home run yesterday.
In Boston. Now, of course, a member of the Boston Red Sox. What a great guy.
Step off move. Yes, he is. And a guy who has really prolonged his career by staying in excellent shape and really doing a lot of extra work. You know, he's had bad knees now for a long time. Hit in the air to center, should be run down by Dykstra. Money is there. That's the first out. Grace retired on an easy fly ball, 1 away. The other player seeking his 400th right around the corner is ex-Phil Dale Murphy. Murph got a hit in his first at bat in a Rockies uniform and did get a start the other day.
Glad to see it. You talk about guys that are reaching milestones, but these two guys are special because of the types of individuals that they are, and you're really happy to see those kind of guys have an opportunity to do what they're doing.
Well, you and I were with the club in Oklahoma City when Murphy was traded, and everybody was saying, well, now when you come back, if you don't have that 400th homer, if we're way ahead in the ball game, we'll give you the signs, let you know what's coming.
You're not buying that, are you?
No, that's what they say in Okie City before the season, not later.
Yeah.
Terry Mulholland having his roughest start of the year. He's had 2 good ones already against Houston and Chicago, but this is one of those hang in there days. No doubt that he fears May. May with an RBI single today, and May homered off him at the vet. 3 balls, no strikes on Derek. Walked him on 4 pitches. That's the first walk that Terry has issued today. 2 on with 1 out for the Cubs. Jim Fregosi not too happy with the way this thing is unfolding here in the early innings. Phillies have had such a run of good luck that you knew something like this would happen sooner or later. And this one not out of the woods by any means just yet. Here's Sosa, struck out first inning.
Yeah, the key to what you just said is it's the early innings. Phillies have shown the ability to score runs in bunches, and in Wrigley Field that gets magnified even more. So
there's a ball put in play to left field, but Milt Thompson is there. Sosa lines to left. That's the second out. Well, I do believe the Phillies played in the 26-23 game here, Teak.
It was a little warmer that day, if I remember correctly, and that wind was blowing straight out that day. Mr. Schmidt had a fairly decent day that day.
Didn't he, though? Steve Buechele. Steve flied out to right field in his lone at bat. Two on and 2 outs for the Cubs in the third. Buechele was acquired by Chicago last year in the Danny Jackson trade. That was the trade that sent Jackson from here to Pittsburgh. Then the Pirates lost him in the expansion draft, and the Phillies acquired Danny from Miami. Jackson's going to pitch here Sunday afternoon, the windup of the series. Good pitch on Buechele, riding in on his fists. 2 balls and a strike. This is the only game in Major League Baseball right now. Everything else will be played tonight on this Friday. And the Phillies and the Cubs again tomorrow afternoon. That one will also be on Sports Channel, and that game will begin at 4 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. Ball 3. Buechele will see if he can get a pitch here as we check out Vizcaíno.
The difficulty for pitchers on a day like today when it's so cold is that your hands get numb. You can cover your arm, you can put the heat on the arm to keep your arm warm, but your hands get numb, and trying to get that release on the baseball is very difficult.
Fly ball, right center field. Dykstra says he can get it. Chamberlain lets him go, and Lenny puts it away for the out. Cubs in the third, no runs, 1 hit, 2 left. After 3, it's 3-0 Chicago.
We thought we'd been everywhere, seen everything. We were wrong.
We're back to the bone. We're back to the bone.
These guys were weird, and we liked it. Later, they took us to the Tower of Bud. Brother, tomorrow we ride again.
The Phillies play Lasorda's Dodgers with Darryl Strawberry and Eric Davis Saturday, April 24th at 7:05. Free baseball card books for all fans, 14 and under, compliments of Donruss. Reserve your tickets now. Call 463-1000.
Sunday, April 25th, Phillies and the Dodgers at 1:35. That's the day the Fanatic will be celebrating another birthday. And this year we're going to have a great Western show in honor of the Fanatic. And the best of all children 14 and under receive a great baseball cap in red and black featuring the Fanatic on the front. Compliments of Tasty Cake. This is always one of the best family times of the year, so make your plans now to come on out and witness the Fanatic's birthday. Get your tickets by calling 215-463-1000. Andy Musser with Kent DeCalvi. We move to the 4th inning here at Wrigley Field. It's 3-0 Cubs. Darren Dalton, whose wife Lynn threw out the first ball today. They're leading it off here. Darren drew a walk to load the bases in the first, but the Phillies could not cash in that opportunity. Have left 4 men on base. Darren loves Wrigley Field. Today, as we showed you, the wind will help a ball to right. It's not blowing by gale force, not compared to some of the days we've seen here. But the ball to right will get helped. The ball to left won't be knocked down that much. Grace got a funny hop, but he's so sharp out there. The Gold Glover makes another nice play. 1 out.
Ball hit in a similar place as last inning, but this time Grace playing more to pull. You see why he's such a good fielder. The glove starts down at the ground, and then when the hop comes, the bad hop comes, he's able to come up with it. Guys that are not good fielders will start with the glove up and try to jab down at the ball, and that's what gives them problems.
Thompson takes low, ball 1. Milt hit a comebacker his first time up, hitting it back to Morgan. Little chop, going to be a tough play. Sanchez gets him. You know, there are those here in Chicago that feel that right now Sanchez is playing shortstop better than Dunston did.
Well, he plays this ball very well. Comes charging in, watches the ball all the way into his glove, gets his feet set, and throws Milt out by a good step or step and a half at first base. So that's an outstanding play by Sanchez right there on a ball that was not sharply hit.
Ray Sanchez filling in until Dunston get back. And of course, you know, the offseason they talked about Dunston maybe playing some outfield this year. I don't know whether that's ever going to be the case or not, but they were not sure that he was going to be their shortstop to begin with. Chamberlain, did he swing? He did, says Randy Marsh, the first base umpire. West got himself an infield single in his only at bat.
When you talk about Dunston playing the outfield, I think the Cubs people look at that and they see that great arm of his and think, well, that would be a cannon from the outfield. Some guys, when you move them to the outfield, that doesn't work.
Here's a bid for a home run, but a nice play by May. Derek May goes into the corner and grabs it, and the Phillies are out in order in the 4th. We move to the bottom half of the inning. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and it's 3-0 Cubs.
Master the art of pitching and catching with Play Ball, the Major League way. You'll go inside the game to learn the Major League secrets for successful pitching. The coaches who teach the pros will now teach you.
What you get on a cross seam is a truer flight of the ball. The ball's going to spin off here.
Plus, you'll see Major League stars apply the same game-tested pitching techniques. Then you'll go behind the plate to uncover Major League methods, including blocking home plate, accurate throws, and even flashing signs.
Make sure that those signs are given well back in that growing area so that they're well protected and only your people can see them.
To learn how to catch like a pro, it's Play Ball, the Major League way. To order pitching and catching for $19.95 plus $4 shipping, send check or money order to this address. Or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
Games. Monday, April 26th at 7:35, and Tuesday afternoon, April 27th at 12:35. It's the First Business Person Special. And Barry Bonds, Will Clark, and the Giants come to town. Call 463-1000.
Cubs ahead 3-0. It's the old-fashioned scoreboard where they put the numbers up by hand, and we've got another one in the league now too, don't we, Teague?
Yeah, the Florida Marlins have constructed one at Joe Robbie Stadium where they hang the numbers by hand, and you see a couple of the holes empty where the people that work out there have an opportunity to look out and see what's going on.
I tell you what, you get yourself into a high-scoring game in this ballpark, and you're adding up numbers out there in a hurry because they do not total the score on that board. It's a scoreboard without the total score. Vizcaíno leads it off for the Cubs. He hit a sharply struck ball that was deflected by Mulholland to second for a fielder's choice that ended the inning. It was a 1-4-6 play, so Vizcaíno is 0 for 1 today. 2 balls and no strikes as Mulholland goes against the bottom third of the Cub order here in the 4th. Vizcaíno, Lake, and Morgan. 3-0.
I started mentioning last inning about the problem that a pitcher has on a day like today is your hands. You can cover up everything else, but your hand has to be out exposed, and the longer you're out there, especially in a long inning, the more numbness you get in the fingertips And when you have a numbness in the fingertips, getting that release and being able to really control the baseball becomes difficult.
Strike two. Terry fights back.
What you try to do is keep your hands as warm as you can between innings, and then get out there and do your work and get back to the bench as quickly as possible.
Well, that's a pretty good goal always, isn't it? Just got a piece of it.
Well, it's always a good goal, and it's always an effective goal as far as, you know, getting your job done on the mound. But on a day like today, it becomes mandatory, because once those hands get numb, it's almost impossible to throw breaking balls. You see Mike Morgan sitting there now. He's getting ready to hit, so he's got the batting gloves on. But you try to keep the hands warm so that you can have a feel on the ball. The breaking ball becomes more difficult as the inning goes on because of the fact that your fingers are numb.
Darren Daulton waiting for Terry. Mulholland went back behind the mound to loosen up his lower back a little bit. He did a couple of stretching exercises. I wonder if that back's bothering him. He walks Vizcaíno. That's his second base on balls issue today. Steve Lake will hit. And this would be a double play opportunity, as we would like to say, wouldn't we?
Well, Laker, since he's a former Philly, let's be kind. He's not the fleetest of foot in the league.
We have come to realize that. That's true. And he does hit the ball on the ground at times, although Lake can surprise you. I mean, you know, he is. You look at him and he doesn't necessarily look like a hitter, but he gets them at key times and he can surprise you. Terry with his quick step off move. Vizcaíno is safe. He hasn't stolen a base, nor has he been caught. Cubs are way down in that stolen base area this year. They have 3 stolen bases. They have not been caught stealing.
They haven't had many base runners, and they've normally been behind.
Here's a ball rolled to deep short. I don't know whether that's 2 or not.
Yes, it is.
It is, with Lake running. You're right. Even though that was deep into the hole. So Lake hits into a double play. And there are 2 outs. Mike Morgan coming to the plate. Morgan struck out first time up, and indeed he has fanned in 4 of 5 at-bats this year. Chase to Mulholland, pitch that was up high. Morgan with all singles in his career, 26 hits, 1 at a time. Gonna try to bunt for one. The ball was already in Dalton's glove when he bunted that. It's tough to bunt them. 0-2.
That's trying to bunt the throw back to the pitcher, I think. That's about as late as that was.
Still alive, 1-2. Got him. Second time around that Morgan has fanned. 3rd strikeout for Mulholland. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. Through 4, it's 3-0 Chicago.
My brother, about to become a father.
So how big can a crib be? Season tickets went on sale today, Mike. And, well, maybe next year. You gone 5 years straight.
Yeah.
Is this about the kid? This kid's getting for free, you know.
It's gonna be a little tight.
Mike, this year's on me.
Only one beer has the taste as genuine as the people who drink it. Budweiser.
Now, the new little guy's going to every game, right?
Bobby, it could be a girl.
Girl?
Repeating
It hit, and I forgot to play her number. Oh, jeez, she's home. She's gonna kill me. I gotta hide. Here. No, there.
Honey,
oh, gosh, here she comes.
I'm home.
The closet. Thanks, boy.
Where are you?
The Pennsylvania Lottery's daily number. Don't forget to play every day.
Did you remember? Bill. I knew you'd forget.
We won?
What do you mean, we?
Sherry, baby.
Did you know Texaco puts System 3 in every grade of gasoline?
System 3 gets high marks in every grade, which is a lot better than I ever did.
My dad says Texaco puts System 3 in every grade. I'm in the 4th grade.
Of course. That's why I always fill up with System 3. What do I look like? Don't say it.
Visit your Texaco station.
I can get the tires rotated, the car lubed, and still get home in time for the game.
Mow the lawn.
For unbeatable System 3 gasolines and so much more.
Mow the lawn.
Mow the lawn.
Brand new gift item for the ladies this year. All women 15 and over on Sunday, May 9th. When the Phillies meet the Cards at 1:35, we're going to get a terrific red and white umbrella featuring the Phillies logo. It comes compliments of MAB Paints. The number for your tickets, 463-1000. We're in the 5th inning with Juan Bell leading it off for the Phillies, who trail 3-0. Bell hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. Juan, 4 hits in his last 9 at bats. Taps it on the ground on the right side. Vizcaíno plays to first, 1 out. Terry Mulholland, Phillies pitcher, sacrificed in his first plate appearance today. Terry, because he's gone so deep into ball games, has been to the bat quite a few times. He's 0 for 7. A .280 lifetime hitter with 24 hits. Did I say .280?
That's what I thought you said.
I saw you looking at me crazy. I meant to say .080. .080 lifetime. I saw, I didn't.
I haven't seen the club for a week, but he must have had a heck of a week.
Thanks for giving me that look, Teak. 1 ball, 1 strike.
280 will find him a position.
Really? Right back to the mound and softly hit, an easy play for Morgan. Terry is out, 2 down here in the 5th. Now it's less than .080. Lenny Dykstra coming up. Lenny has grounded to second and lined to center. Like Morgan mowing him down, he's held the Phillies to 2 hits. Kruk's double, Chamberlain's infield single. That's amazing because Kruk's double might have been caught by May, and that infield single was kind of a pitch where Chamberlain was fooled on the ball and just did beat it out. Here's Lenny's 3rd at bat. Lenny has hit safely in 5 of the last 6 Phillies games. Takes a strike. Dykstra says, as a leadoff guy, his least favorite situation is this one right here. Bases empty and 2 outs. But it's amazing how many rallies can be started just this way, especially when you're at the top of the lineup, because then you've got good hitters coming up.
But normally with 2 outs, what you have to try to do, if you're going up there with a plan with 2 outs and nobody on, you want to try to get an extra base hit, so it only takes 1 more base hit to score you, and that of course takes Lenny a little bit out of his normal mode.
2 balls and a strike on Lenny. You've got to look at Morandini, who will bat next.
Of course, the way Lenny's been running the bases this year, stealing the bases, you can get on and turn it into a double very quickly.
Yeah, he has 5 stolen bases, tied for the league lead. And a 3-1 count here. Ball 4, he is aboard. Now let's see if he does have his running shoes on. Track is a little heavy today. Needless to say, this field was covered, but can run. 3rd walk issued by Morgan. He's above his career mark, 2.6 per 9 innings. Morandini has lined to left and grounded out to Grace. On the corner. Good pitch for Morgan. That's exactly where he wanted to put it, and he did. Morandini sends a fly ball not deep in left. May has it lined up. And that's the third out of the inning. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No hits, no runs, one man left on base. We move to the bottom of the fifth. 3-0 Cubs.
Mickey O'Neill had it all.
Bring the ladies another bottle of champagne.
A beautiful girlfriend.
Mickey, I love you.
A popular nightclub. And a way with words.
There are those who find a kind of giving in their taking. That's me. Whoa!
Until he went too far and lost it all. Hear my song. The story of Mickey O'Neill's magical journey to find the one man who can bring it all back.
The man went AWOL 25 years ago. You know he's not dead. God spare him. I know he's here, Fenton.
His journey will lead him into a world he never knew existed, where anything can happen. Introducing Adrian Dunbar and Tara Fitzgerald, and starring Ned Beatty as the one man who can bring them back together.
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change. Bell of Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company. The Pennsylvania Lottery is a participating advertiser in Phillies baseball. Lottery proceeds benefit older Pennsylvania. Got a dark sky overhead here at Wrigley Field right now, and we had drizzle on the field before the game. When Teak and I were down there doing the opening, we were being drizzled upon. And there is some more rain and snow showers in forecast for the Windy City for tonight and again early tomorrow morning. But this ball game is now official, and we should be able to get in tomorrow's game as well. And if you're in the neighborhood, yes, tickets are available.
That is the definition of one brave soul right there. Sitting with all his friends in the Bob Uecker section.
Front row. But he's used to calling them from that seat, and that's where he's going to sit.
That's right. Don't want to change your perspective on the game.
Bottom of the fifth, Willie Wilson leads it off. He has singled and scored 1 for 2. Terry Mulholland has yielded 4 hits. He's also walked 2, and there was that one costly fielder's choice where they did not get an out.
Willie Wilson obviously doesn't run the way he used to. He still runs very well. Remember in 1980, in January of 1980, I was in Kansas City for a banquet that winter, and they put like 6 straight back-to-back inside the park home runs that Willie Wilson hit that year. It was unbelievable to watch that, just, you know, the way he was flying around the bases.
Well, you know, he has 142 triples. He is the top active major leaguer in 3 base hits. None so far this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the veteran Willie Wilson. He did not have a good World Series that year against the Phillies in '80. He batted 154 in the series that year with no runs batted in. That was the year during the regular season he went to the plate 705 times. Ball 3, a full count on Willie. He's 37 now. And this is his 16th major league season. Got him. Terry gets him on a high fastball, his 4th strikeout.
Terry normally keeps the ball down in the strike zone. Here with 2 strikes on Wilson, he gets the ball up in the strike zone and actually got the ball right on by him. You won't see Terry Mulholland throw that fastball by people too often, but that time he had it set up nicely and pushed it right past Wilson.
Ray Sanchez 1 for 2, a single, and he scored a run. We've also seen him make some pretty good plays in the field today. He has a bad swing at that. Strike 1 on Sanchez. Sanchez came into the game batting 189. You're going to need a little more than that out of your shortstop. Curveball for a strike. One thing about Dunston, he's a pretty good hitter, and he does have some pop in his bat. Inside, it's a ball and 2 strikes on Ray Sanchez. His first name is spelled R-E-Y. Terry nibbling a bit here to try to get Sanchez. It's 2-2.
The Cubs offense, you talk about, you delete a Sandberg and a Dunston and you put it a Sanchez and a Vizcaíno. That's a major deduction.
Oh, you bet.
And that's part of the reason why the Cubs have struggled offensively early in the season.
Rhino expected back around May 1st. That's a roundabout date. Remember, here's a guy that never hit in April to begin with. I mean,
it'll be interesting to see if that carries over, if he just starts hitting in May or if he just doesn't hit the first month that he's playing.
Well, that's true. And of course, don't forget, he got hurt on March 5th. That's just the beginning of spring training. So what kind of shape can he be in?
Well, he can't be in very good shape. I'm sure he's been doing running and, he's able to throw, being that it's his glove hand that was broken. But timing is going to be the problem because he's had virtually no spring training whatsoever.
And all of those things get a little older, get a little tougher as you get older in your career. Full count now. Terry was ahead 0-2, and now it's 3-2. On deck, Mark Grace. Rather face him with the bases empty. Check swing almost. Chamberlain retreats on it, but he's got it lined up, and Sanchez is out number 2 on a fly to right. So now Terry will go against Mark Grace, who is a tough hitter. I mean, Grace doesn't seem to know whether there's a left-hander or a right-hander out there. 2-run double for him today in 2 at-bats. You think Grace is going to win a batting title someday?
I don't know if he's going to win a batting title. This ballpark is a tough ballpark to win a batting title in due to the fact that the dimensions are small, which puts the outfielders in closer and bunches them a little bit more. So it's a lot of times some of those line drives that in other ballparks will drop in will be caught in this ballpark. So it's tough to win a batting title playing in Wrigley Field, although it has been done. I know Bill Madlock won one here.
I think Billy Williams
Billy
did too.
Williams. But it's a tough ballpark to win a batting title in.
1-1. There's Sweet swinging.
Oh, could he hit?
Probably still could. He is the Cubs hitting coach. 1-2 now, the count on Grace. Mark bats with the bases empty and 2 out in the 5th. Stayed away, and it's 2-2. Grace in his lifetime has batted .286 when facing Mulholland. Line drive, and he's got himself a hit. Second hit of the day. He's 2 out of 3. Hit number 5 for Chicago.
And that one hurt. Caught that ball right on the end of the bat. You see him pulling the batting gloves back up. On a cold day, you don't want to hit the ball on the end of the bat or on the fist. And Mark Grace reaches out and just barely gets this ball on the end of the bat completely extended. And that one will ring for a while. His fingers will tingle.
But he will take it, won't he?
He will take it.
Derek May has singled and walked, driving in 1 run. This guy's becoming a tough out. You can see why Jim Lefevre put him in that cleanup spot in his lineup and said, "You're going to be my cleanup man." Born in Rochester, New York, but he lives in Newark, Delaware, graduate of Newark High School in 1986. Son of Dave May, who had a fine major league career. Twice in his career he's hit 2 home runs at Veterans Stadium. He did it last week on the 9th of April, and he also did it on June 19th of 1992. In each case he drove in 5 runs. Fly ball to left. Bell makes the call, and the catch. May is out, and down go the Cubs. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left through 5, 3-0 Chicago.
When you move into a new house, little things are going to come up. Unexpected things. Things the previous owner forgot to mention. So to make your new house a home, turn to the book with more choices. It can even help if you want to get out of the house for a while. The Gentleman Bella Pennsylvania Yellow Pages. 9 out of 10 use it. No other book can match it. A Bella Atlantic Company.
There was one thing about Bud that we kept hearing over and over. Now that's fresh beer. Huh? Okay, let's say this is the original Budweiser brewery in St. Louis. There's another one in Texas.
And 2 more in Florida.
New York, California, New Jersey.
Over a dozen of them.
So Budweiser doesn't have to truck their beer clean across the country.
So you know it's fresh.
Right.
Is that my beer in New Jersey?
You don't just watch a Phillies game. You experience a Phillies game. Big fun, lots of laughs. It's the Fanatics' birthday, Sunday, April 25th, when the Phillies play the Dodgers at 1:35. Free Fanatic baseball caps for all fans 14 and under, compliments of Tasty Cake. Reserve your tickets now. Call 463-1000.
It's the first of a record 5 business person specials. Great midweek, midday baseball in the sun. And the greatest excuse to get out of the office and see Barry Bonds in his Giants uniform. All these great business person specials are compliments of Mellon PSFS. So start clearing your work calendar early and get your tickets easily by calling 215-463-1000. Number 1 is on Tuesday, April 27th. Phillies and the Giants at 12:35. Well, they have dragged the infield, and we're ready to go in the 6th inning with the Cubs ahead 3-0. John Kruk has doubled and struck out. John's got himself another hit. Single to right. So the first basemen on both sides of this game have been offensive minded today. That's only the 3rd Phillies hit. Dave Hollins has walked and struck out. Cubs have been sitting on this 3-0 lead since the 1st inning. And the Phillies have been bottled up by Morgan. Hollins doesn't like that call. He looks incredulous at Harry Wendelstedt. Harry's had a few of those looks. Dykstra gave him one a little earlier. What do you think, Dave?
Never see the pitch right here. Morgan. Well, it appeared like it could have been a little bit low. Tempers will normally be a little bit short on days like today. When it's cold, you're not in a real good mood to start with. And of course, the 2 guys that we've seen, Dykstra and Hollins, they don't play normally in a good mood to start with. And you put them in bad weather, it gets even worse. So they're liable to question a call or 2.
We were talking earlier about that day that Darren Daulton struck out 5 times here. Darren talks about coming back to the stands. He said fans were getting on him. He said, but there was one lady. Every time he came back, this lady said, "Stay with him. Don't worry. You'll get him next time. Stay there. You know, don't worry about it. Keep your head up and all this." After the 5th time, Darren's on his way back to the dugout. He struck out 5 times in a row. She said, "Don't worry about it." She said, "You know who else did that? Your manager." He said, "I had to laugh." He said, "It was no time to laugh, but I had to." Into left field, Derek May is there. It stays up for Derek, and Hollins is out. 1 out, and here comes Darren Daulton. Dutch with his wife Lynn here today, having thrown out the first ball. Darren walked and grounded to first.
We're starting to see a little bit of a pattern develop here. Morgan early in the game, majority of his outs were on ground balls. Now all of a sudden the Philly hitters seem to be consistently able to get the ball in the air. So could be an indicator that Morgan is starting to lose a little bit on that sinking fastball and leaving it up in the strike zone.
Interesting. They're not hitting it very hard. They got a chance at the lead runner. Get it. Daulton beats it out. Fielder's choice. 2 outs. Daulton safe at first. And Milt Thompson will bat. They're not getting solid contact, though, no matter where they hit the ball, ground or air. Thompson today 0 for 2, doesn't have it out of the infield. He's grounded to Morgan and grounded to short. Well, with all these day games in Chicago, Phillies get a chance to get to know the Chicago restaurants pretty well. We've got 2 of Chicago's famous restaurateurs seated just to our left and our right. We've got Harry Carey on the left. He's got his own spot. Steve Stone, Cub broadcaster over on our right. He's got all kinds of places around town.
I wonder if that's part of the broadcasting deal in Chicago. You get your own restaurant.
Must be.
Wonder what's going to happen now with Ditka's.
Ditka's.
Now that Mike is no longer on the scene in Chicago.
The Ditka's downtown restaurant closed.
Well, so did Ditka over at Soldier Field.
Well, yeah, you're right. The restaurant closed before he did. But the one out by the airport's still going. Talking to Harry Carey about his place one day, he says, "That's my retirement account." Have a restaurant for an IRA, huh? 3-1. Morgan's been tough today. You know, he's 0-2 coming into the ball game, but his ERA was not bad, 3.29. He was in a couple of those real tight ball games, including a 5-4 loss to the Phillies. Thompson backhanded it short, caught in the air by Sanchez. Thompson is out. So are the Phillies. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on base. Cubs ahead, 3-0.
We need to talk. You see, you and I have something in common.
Batman returns.
Batman. To destroy Batman, we must first turn him into what he hates the most. Namely, us.
Kids, this is for you, a dream come true. Once again, Milk Duds candies, and the Phillies are teaming up to offer kids 6 to 16 a chance to be a celebrity bat boy or bat girl and win 4 box seats tickets to a game. Pick an entry form at the advanced ticket windows, the fan accommodations room behind section 224, or look in your Phillies souvenir program. Hurry, this offer is limited. Getting a little darker here at Wrigley Field. Needless to say, the lights are on. Teak, this is an advantage we wouldn't have had a couple of years ago. They only have had lights here now about 4 or 5 years. By the way, they're about to play their first night game of the season on Monday, and the Phillies will be back here for a night game on their second and last trip in. They only make 2 trips in town this year.
Yeah, because of the addition of the Rockies and the Florida Marlins, schedule has changed. Normally you would go 3 times in the past in the Eastern Division cities and twice in the Western Division cities, but now 2 trips each. Interesting change for the players. I know a lot of the players are disappointed that they don't get to come to Chicago for 2 days or 2 trips, because Chicago, one of the favorite cities for all the players around the league to come to.
Yeah, I think it's because of the day games and the fact that you have your evenings off, and it's raining. That's why it's getting so dark looking here. We do have an official ball game. That's the good news. The bad news is the Phillies trail at 3-0. I guess in this case the bad news exceeds the good news, doesn't it?
Yes. 2 points for the bad news, only 1 point for the good news.
And even worse news, it's the Cubs' turn to bat. Bottom of the 6th inning, Sosa to lead it off. He has struck out and lined to left. One thing we found out about this field over the years, though, it does absorb water well, and lots of it. Here's Sosa, came into the game batting .324. Sosa was hurt a lot last year. The Cubs and the Phillies both took hitting in the cages today. The field wasn't uncovered until right prior to the ball game. They did have infield listed, but neither team took it because of the conditions prior to the game. Harry Wendelstadt's in charge of things here today, veteran umpire. I think umpires feel just like the players do, that they want to be fair about it. If they can keep playing, fine, but they don't want conditions to get unplayable, and they don't want players to be in a position where they might get hurt, and they don't want to mess the field up while trying to continue the game so that you can't play it later if it stops raining.
Yeah, all those things go into the home plate umpire's decision, in this case Harry Wendelstadt, whether to continue play or stop. But I think the major consideration is the safety of the players. When the field starts getting to the point where players can get hurt, and injured, then it's the umpire's obligation to make sure that the game is stalled.
3-2. Less pressure on an umpire at this point when the game is official than there is when you're trying to get to the 5.5 inning mark.
The pressure in this game is it's just 3-0 ball game.
Yeah.
And it's, by far it's not over with.
Sosa hammers one to deep left. Can Thompson get it? He's got room. It looks like he does. Thompson pulls it in for the out. He almost got it to the part where the well would have made it a shorter home run. Sosa's out.
Ball just far enough to the left where Milt Thompson has a chance. You see the fastball up in the strike zone. Sosa hammers it pretty good. Wind blowing out the right, holds it up a little bit. We're not going to see Milt Thompson on the catch, but he was just at the cutoff there where that wall bends and falls away in left field. And had that ball been over another 6 or 7 feet to Milty's left, that ball could have possibly caught in the basket. See right here, Milt's just past the part where the cutoff is. The cutoff is just right on his glove hand side.
This is Buechele, who fouled off the first pitch. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Buechele is 0 for 2 with a fly ball to right and a fly ball to center. It's a strangely configured park. They've got that well in both left field and right field. And the rain is really sweeping across Wrigley right now. Low and inside, 2-1. Look at that rain. There's the well, too.
Yeah, most fence, like in the vet, the fence just continually moves around, but there's that strange corner, and a ball hit over Milt's head right there that hits against that well will actually carry him and shoot to the left field corner. So you have to be able to play a little different defense out in this ballpark.
Out of play. And then right beyond that well, we've got Kenmore Street. Is that where you say Dave Kingman used to plant them?
Kenmore Street that runs off of Waveland. Now, he hit a lot of them on Waveland, but when he got one real good, he used to hit it on Kenmore and hit it right down the block.
There's Kenmore.
There's Kenmore. He's dented a few cars parked on Kenmore.
I think Kingman has more home runs than any other player who is not in the Hall of Fame. Is that true?
I believe that is correct.
He was, needless to say, and I think even he would say, a one-dimensional player. And a base hit. Buechele gets a hit. And I gave that line about more homers and not in the Hall of Fame. I'm talking about eligible players. Of course, there are some players still active who are in that category. Andre Dawson certainly being one. Hit number 6 for the Cubs. Vizcaíno has grounded into a fielder's choice and walked in his 2 plate appearances today. Rain still coming, but letting up a little bit, and it's looking a little lighter here at Wrigley Field. Terry Mulholland probably in his last inning of work. He's due to bat as the 3rd hitter in the top of the 7th. Phillies down 3-0. That is probably it for Terry. That first inning did him in to this point. Talking about that, though, that is the mark of a good pitcher, to give up 3 in the first and then settle down and don't give him anything more.
Yeah, a lot of pitchers can go out there, and if you have a first inning like that, it will never come back together. And in the beginning of Terry's career, that was exactly the case with him. He was not able to regroup. Everything would just fall apart, and he would have been gone in this game by the 2nd or 3rd inning. But the maturity that he's gained over the last couple of years and the confidence has given him the ability to come back and regroup after one of those bad first innings. He's not nearly as hard on himself. He's able to put it behind him and say, okay, the first inning's over with, it's done. Now I've got a ball game to pitch. And that's exactly what he's done today. Regrouped and gone out and pitched a whale of a ball game since that first inning.
In the back of his mind, he knows he's playing behind a good offensive team, too, and they're likely to get something before this afternoon's over. Morgan's been dominant so far. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes on Vizcaíno. Breaking ball, it just missed. It's 2-2. Vizcaíno hit his 3-run home run off Ben Rivera. Down the third base side, but foul. The guy who appreciates it most got it too.
Yep. Nice gesture by the gentleman in the back. Gets 5. Deservedly so.
In play, left field, Thompson. Over his head, extra bases for Vizcaíno. Buechele is being waved around. They got a shot at him. He's out. Vizcaíno doubles, but the Phillies get Buechele at the plate.
We see Milt running into left center field, cannot quite catch up to it at the last second, puts his head down. Now he gets the ball back, overthrows Juan Bell, the first cutoff man, but Mickey Morandini alertly in position, gets rid of the ball quickly, and as we mentioned earlier, Buechele with not the greatest speed in the league to throw a little bit offline, but Dutch able to get the tag into his chest before he gets to home plate. So the Cubs gamble and try to score Buechele from first base with only 1 out and end up having to pay the price on a great relay by Mickey Morandini of the overthrow.
Yeah, that was a gamble, and maybe not a good one, because that was not a terrific throw, and they still got Buechele. Well, another extra base hit for Vizcaíno. He's at second base. The hitter is Steve Lake, and it remains 3-0 Cubbies. 2 outs.
And part of what goes into Chuck Cottier's thinking of when he sends him is that they're now down at the bottom of the order with Steve Lake and Mike Morgan coming up. So he was going to take a gamble and try to score that run when he had a chance, figuring that he's down in the weaker part of his lineup. Had he been in the Grace May area, I'm sure that he would not have sent him.
Oh, that's true. So they're going to walk Lake and pitch to Morgan. Certainly Morgan would not be lifted from this ball game, and he struck out twice today weekly, so this is perfect strategy. Jim Fregosi is not a proponent really of walking the number 8 hitter per se, but this is a perfect spot to do it.
In a ball game, you're already down 3-0, and you want to do everything you can to make sure that extra run doesn't score, because the way Morgan's pitching, every run becomes larger and larger that the Cubs are able to tack on.
Morgan both times struck out swinging. Now he's had 6 at bats this year, and he struck out 5 of those 6 times up. Whitson in play. Holland's got the force out at third base, steps on the bag, and that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. After 6, 3-0 Cubs.
My Uncle Ernie loves the Phillies, but he's such a lousy driver, he could never make it to the vet to see him play. He even got his insurance canceled trying. So to get Uncle Ernie off the road and into Veterans Stadium, we got him Prism.
Kruk, Dykstra, Dalton. The Phillies are gearing up for an exciting season, and Prism has 45 games from Veterans Stadium. To order Prism, dial 1-800-CABLE-ME. Call now and get installation for only $4.95 or a free upgrade.
I can't believe Uncle Ernie makes his living as a driving instructor.
When Bob borrowed a lawnmower, all he got was short grass. When Bob borrowed hedge clippers, all he got was nice shrubs. When Bob borrowed a ladder, all he got was red shutters. When Bob borrowed a hose, all he got was wet. But when Bob borrowed money, he got free banking services. The Mellon PSFS Smart Accounts. The package accounts for people who borrow as well as save.
Take a look at the Phillies' upcoming telecasts. We'll be on here again tomorrow, 4 o'clock on Sports Channel against the Cubs, and on Sunday at 2:15 on PHL 17 against the Chicago Cubs. Then Tuesday at 7:30 on PHL 17, the San Diego Padres. Future telecasts, we hope you'll be watching the Phillies. Got a lot of good baseball for you coming up. Well, things are happening here now. The Phillies are going to pinch hit for Mulholland, and in the Phillies bullpen, the newest acquisition, Mark Davis, begins to loosen up, so Mark will be in this ball game. 3-0 Cubs as we move to the 7th. And it's going to be Chamberlain, Bell, and a pinch hitter for Mulholland.
you're always looking for sparks in a ball game when you're down 3 runs, and you know the game's been Morgan's been pretty much in control now. We mentioned last inning the Phillies able to start getting the ball in the air a little bit. Maybe the Thompson to Morandini to Dalton play at the plate can be a little bit of a spark. I know Terry Mulholland's sitting over there thinking, I hope there's some kind of a spark pretty soon. He really, after the first inning, has pitched an outstanding ball game. And as we mentioned, it will probably be the end for him, because of the fact that the Phillies are down by 3 runs. See Mariano Duncan milling around in the dugout. I don't know if he's looking for a bat.
Chamberlain now 1 for 2, infield single. The other time up, he hit a ball to left field that was caught in the corner. Here's a bouncing ball to Vizcaíno, and he makes the play. Chamberlain goes 1 down in the 7th. Juan Bell will be the hitter, and is Eisenreich going to be the pinch hitter?
Well, he's got the jacket off. Normally on a day like today, you're not going to take the jacket off unless you think you're going to work.
That's right. Here's Bell, 0 for 2, pair of ground balls to second. Paul Assenmacher, left-hander, is up in the Cub bullpen. Strike. Caught the corner with that one. A perfect pitcher's pitch. It is Duncan in the on-deck circle. So Jimmy's going to go against percentages here with the Phillies down 3-0. Save Eisenreich.
Well, Eisenreich is the only left-handed hitter that he has on the bench available. He may want to try to save him for a little later on in this ball game. Still plenty of time.
Could be a key spot later on. You could hardly call this a key spot. Even if Bell gets on, the batter next does not represent the tying run. Slapped on the ground, but there's Grace waiting for it. He is a slick fielder. He just waits to gobble him up. Bell is retired, and Duncan comes up.
Well, it's not as deadly as it normally is when you have Sandberg and Grace on this side of the infield. At least you figure with Vizcaíno you have a shot at the right side of the infield, but this one hit right to Mark Grace. Again, glove down on the ground, works from the ground up, makes the play look easy, and it really wasn't that easy. He got a little bit of a short hop.
Mariano hitting at .316 with no homers, 1 run batted in. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. The Phillies pinch hitters overall 3 for 8. Take that percentage for the whole year. Nice stop by Morgan. Underhand throw, and Duncan is out. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel. So in order, stretch time at Wrigley. 3-0 Cubs.
This unparalleled motion picture will take you on a breathtaking adventure into a remarkable triumph of the heart. Discover its uplifting power, the power of one.
Which food contains the highest amount of sugar? A, 1 cup of ice cream, 7 teaspoons. B, 1 cup of plain gelatin, 12 teaspoons. C, 1 cup of sherbet, 14 teaspoons. Be careful what you eat. Gelatin and sherbet contain almost twice the amount of sugar as ice cream.
That is a Chicago tradition. Harry Carey with "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" in the 7th, and those guys are goofy. Mark Davis coming back to the Phillies. Acquired him recently from Atlanta. Of course, he started his career in the Phillies organization. It's good to see Mark back, and I have a feeling he's going to help the Phillies quite a bit. Mark last year with Kansas City and Atlanta was 2-3, 7.13 earned run average. Mark's now 32 years of age and approaching his 11th season in the big leagues. A Cy Young Award winner in 1989 with San Diego. What a year he had that year. He was awesome.
I thought it was interesting the other day. John Kruk, speaking of Kruk rules, John Kruk talking about Mark Davis and saying that he really thinks that being with this ball club with the relaxed atmosphere that's around here and the way these guys are is going to help Mark, because he played with him in San Diego. He knows his personality. He thinks he's going to fit in real well with this ball club.
Yeah, and then he said if he doesn't, we'll kill him.
And then we'll kill him. And we won't have to worry about it. Now, so you can only say that about your real good buddies. You know, if you don't know a guy real well, you might not be able to get away with that.
Willie Wilson 1 for 3 today. He got that 3-run first inning rally underway by getting a base hit to start this ball game, and that's been the only troublesome inning in this game. Pitchers have dominated throughout. It's 3-0 Cubs. Johnny Padres worked with Mark Davis the first day that Mark showed up in Philadelphia. Made a slight adjustment in his windup. Wilson walks. 4th walk given to the Cubs today. Ray Sanchez comes up. He's 1 for 3 and has scored 1 of the runs. Ossenmacher remains up for Chicago. The way Morgan's pitched, you wouldn't think he'd come out of this game, would you?
I wouldn't be so sure that Ossenmacher is not just finishing up what he started last inning, just getting his work in.
Maybe the Bunsen order here. They've got some pretty good hitters coming up, Grayson May, and for them to go from 3 runs to 4 runs would be a big psychological advantage at this point. So there's a good chance that Sanchez will be bunting. Hollins is shallow. There it is. Davis to field, left with the play at first, throws a bullet to Morandini. So the sacrifice by Sanchez gets Wilson to second. 1 out.
Davis came off the mound there. I think he got the ball to Mickey a little quicker than he thought it was going to be coming. Mickey kind of got handcuffed a little bit at first base. Had that startled look on his face when the ball got there.
But he did catch it. You're right. Okay, Grace 2 out of 3, double and single, knocked in 2, scored 1. And this is what the Phillies will be watching now. That would be Mark's ability to get out left-handed batters. That will be his calling, to come into games at some critical spot and get out 1 or 2 left-handed batters. So here's opportunity number 1.
And in '89, when Mark Davis won the Cy Young Award, he had just one nasty slider, and left-handed hitters were just overmatched with that pitch. Right there, he throws the curveball, which is just a slower, bigger breaking variety of the slider. But he had one of those hard biting sliders that he would start on the outside part of the plate, and left-handed hitters just could not lay off of.
We had a guy in Philadelphia who made his living for quite a few years with just that pitch, and I'm talking about number 32.
No, he didn't throw that, did he?
Did he ever?
Dave Parker still thinks that's a fastball.
He swung like it was a fastball, didn't he? Breaking ball, 1 and 2. Mark Davis. Mark 6'4", 210 pounds. Born in Livermore, California, makes his home in suburban Atlanta and says he's going to stay there for a while. He's got some children in school there, which he wants to see through, but he loves the Pennsylvania area. If things work out for him and with the Phillies, I wouldn't be surprised to see him eventually move back to our area. On the corner, Grace does not believe it, but he will walk away. Davis gets a strikeout. And that was definitely borderline.
Well, this is that slider I was talking about earlier. Down.
Ooh.
Well, I guess that was as close as the other one that was called earlier, so we'll take it.
Tickets sold today, 16,255.
They're not all here.
No, they're not.
A few of them still have those tickets in their pocket.
Derek May. Derek today is 1 for 2, RBI single. He has also walked. Pitch was riding in on Derek, but he took a swat at it. Cubs ahead 3-0, 7th inning.
So far, a couple of guys who have been swinging the bat very well, Grayson May, have not looked comfortable at the plate against Davis.
Check swing. Ground ball to Hollins. He'll have the play. And Mark Davis does a nice job. He issues a leadoff walk and then gets out of it. No runs, no hits, one left through 7, 3-0 Chicago.
Some people will only go to Texaco. Why?
Why? Are you kidding? Look at this cab. It's as clean as my fuel injectors.
System 3 gasoline helps restore performance to older models. I know about that. And Doritos. Ha ha!
Everybody gets what they want. Tommy gets pretzels, Dawn gets juice, Van gets System 3.
Visit your Texaco station and Food Mart for unbeatable System 3 gasolines and so much more.
I always come here to fill up. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Something to drink, sir?
Yeah, make it a Bud Light.
Sorry, we just ran out.
Oh. Excuse me. Bud Light?
Try Flight 261 out of L.A.
Oh, thank you.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Do you have a Bud Light?
Yes. Welcome aboard, sir.
Great. Where are we going?
Phillies baseball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Bud Light. Day in and day out, at home or on the road, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up and never let you down, so make it a Bud Light. Well, this would appear to be the chance for the Phillies if they're going to do something today. Here in the 8th inning, they trail 3-0. They are at the top of the batting order, and sure enough, Mike Morgan is still on the hill, even though Ossenmacher was warming up. It doesn't surprise us that Morgan is going out there.
Well, as I mentioned to you, between innings, had Morgan been coming out of this game, there probably would have been a shot in the Cubs dugout of a fight going on in here between Jim Lefebvre and Mike Morgan. The way he's pitching today, you have to get a crowbar to get him out of this ball game.
Bobby Aralt and Larry Anderson are throwing in the Phillies bullpen. Top of the lineup, Davis batting in the 9th spot, so that's not of immediate concern, although I would assume there's a good chance that Davis will pitch just that one inning in this Phillies debut.
Well, he got through the left-handed part of the Cub lineup, and now from here on out, the next inning, it'll be all right-handers.
Lenny has grounded out to second, line to center, and walked. Takes a strike.
As you mentioned, down 3-0. This is the inning the Phillies really have to try this. Not the only inning that they have an opportunity to do it, but this is the inning that they're in the best position, being at the top of the lineup. You got the guys to get on for one of the big boys to bop one out of here.
1 ball, 1 strike on Lenny. Missed. Ossenmacher is up again in the Chicago bullpen. Got some left-handers coming up. I believe a light snow shower is underway here. Down into that bullpen, out of play.
A snow shower has broken out at Wrigley Field.
In the midst of a baseball game. Jim Fregosi was talking this morning about taking an American Association club into Denver one year at the end of May and got rained out, or snowed out rather, 4 days in a row. He said actually what happened was, he said, we got there, we couldn't land at the airport, we landed at Colorado Springs, drove to Denver. The first game was snowed out, and they had so much snow and the forecast was so bad that he said we went back to Louisville.
Left town.
Yeah, just left town. Jimmy's got the stories. And he's got what he feels is a darn good ball club this year. 3-2 pitch. Lenny back through the middle on a base hit. The 8th inning rally is underway. Dykstra's first hit of the ball game. Phillies hit number 4. Here comes Lefebvre. Frenchie making his way out to the mound. Morandini and Kruk coming up. He might want Ossenmacher.
Well, the Phillies with 4 straight left-handed hitters coming up. Morandini, Kruk, of course, Hollins switch hitting will be from the left side, and Dalton. So, and then Thompson, 5 actually. So Jim Lefebvre makes the move. Even though Mike Morgan is throwing well, 8th inning of the ball game on a cold day, and he goes to the bullpen and calls for Paul Ossenmacher.
Ossenmacher has already pitched against the Phillies this year at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. This left-hander was rumored to be available during spring training. He does have a high salaried contract. The Cubs are loaded with left-handers in the bullpen. They also have Dan Plesac. They acquired him this past offseason, as they did Randy Myers to be their closer. So certainly they have what you could consider an overload of left-handers. Ossenmacher is a workhorse. 4-3 lifetime against the Phillies. This year, Ossenmacher makes his 4th appearance, earned run average 6.75. Opposing hitters are batting .294 off Ossenmacher. He's 32. He hails from Detroit. This is his 7th year of big league baseball. Paul Ossenmacher comes in to pick up for Mike Morgan, who's pitching a shutout, but it's only 3-0 Cubs. And with the explosiveness that the Phillies have shown offensively in the first part of the year, this is really a mark of respect on the part of Jim Lefebvre.
It really is. And you look at Paul Ossenmacher, you think about Paul Ossenmacher, and you don't think about a guy that's really a power pitcher, a curveball pitcher. Comes in primarily to pitch to left-hand hitters, but over the course of his career, he's struck out almost a batter an inning. So he's got something that those left-handed hitters are having problems with. We see Mike Morgan over in the dugout. He had an outstanding ball game today under some very tough conditions. Was able to control a very good hitting Philly lineup.
Let's take a shot of those Cub outfielders. If they'd play the way they're standing right now, the Phillies would have a heck of a chance in this ball game.
Tough to get one through them, though.
Yeah, you couldn't get one through them.
Gaps are small, but the corners are wide open.
They're figuring out something out there.
We also, by playing the defense this way, you've negated Willie Wilson's speed. You've got those other two guys entirely too close. Yeah. They're going back more to the spread defense now.
Afraid of that. Rain continues to fall. Lefebvre back to the dugout, and we will continue here. It's 3-0 Cubs. We're in the Phillies' 8th, and Mickey Morandini comes to the plate with Dykstra at first and nobody out. Mickey today has twice hit the ball to left and once to first. He's 0 for 3. Jim Fregosi has used up Duncan, but actually, we were checking the numbers earlier today. Morandini has a better average right now off left-handers than he does off right-handers.
Yeah, it's very early in the season, and always the rap on Mickey was that he had trouble hitting left-handers. So he's hitting 600 off the left-handers. The unfortunate part is he's had a little bit of trouble with the right-handers.
Into the air to right field and not deep. Sosa coming in. Morandini is out on one pitch from Paul Ossenmacher. Next hitter will be John Kruk. Good day for John. He has doubled and singled in 3 trips, 2 out of 3. Yeah, you can't hit with a dirty bat. You got to clean that bat.
That's right.
Besides, it's heavier that way.
It's not very sanitary. Put pine tar all over it, and then you wipe it off to make sure it's clean.
You know, that brings up an interesting question, Teak. If you're using a dark bat like Kruk is, did he swing at that? No swing. If you use a dark bat, as John is, how do you know how far that pine tar goes?
I guess the umpire has to get his hands in there, and I can guarantee you Harry Wendelstadt's not putting his hands all over a bat with pine tar on.
They might not come off.
I think he wouldn't have had his problem down in Houston if we had a black bat. Nobody would know.
Ossenmacher with a what do you want to put? Just a show move.
Yeah, that was just let you remind you that I know you're over there, but I'm not really too interested in doing anything with you.
Kruk, base hit, is 3rd of the ball game. Dykstra turns 2nd. He's going to go to 3rd. That's something you can do here on this grass at Wrigley Field. It's 1st and 3rd, and the tying run comes to the plate. John's 3rd hit of the afternoon.
So I mentioned at the top of the inning, the Phillies have done what they have to do here. John Kruk gets a fastball on the inside part of the plate and hits it right back up the middle. So 2 base hits this inning have both gone back up the middle. This one here moves Lenny Dykstra around from 1st to 3rd. So the Phillies have done what they have to do to get a shot at getting back into this ball game right now by getting a couple guys on for Hollins and Dalton.
Scanlon gets up. Right-hander Bob Scanlon, another ex-Phil. Phil sent him to the Cubs when they picked up Mitch Williams. Here's Hollins. Dave has walked, struck out, fly to left, 0 for 2. Cub infield at double play depth. They'd be willing to give up a run here. Well, they wouldn't give up a run. There's one out in the inning. Scratch that.
See Scanlon down in the Cub bullpen. He's not going to be seen for a while. It's just giving him a little extra time to get loose. You won't see him until Wes Chamberlain comes to the plate.
Hollins, base hit. Phillies get a run. Dykstra scores. Kruk to second base. Tying runs aboard in a 3-1 game. Hollins found the hole for that one and picks up his 5th run batted in. Run charge to Morgan. And now Bill Connors, Cubs pitching coach, makes his way out to the mound. The line is complete on Morgan. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Ossenmacher now responsible for the 2 runners aboard.
As mentioned earlier about a cold day like today, the problem with your hands, Ossenmacher being a breaking ball pitcher, both of those hits came off fastballs, and it's not normal to see that many fastballs from Paul Ossenmacher. Probably a little concerned about being able to throw that breaking ball in the cold weather.
Darren Dalton has hit 2 home runs off Ossenmacher this year. 2 for 2, 278 lifetime.
Possibly make it 3 for 3. Would be
You're pushing
nice.
it. You're pushing it, Teak, but that's not a bad idea. But no wonder Billy Connors came out.
Like I said, whatever you did the first 2 times,
try
don't do
something
it again.
else. Go to plan C.
Yeah, we've been through A and B.
Darren today has walked, grounded out twice, so he's 0 for 2. And it's lightening up here at Wrigley Field right now as the Phillies get on the board for the first time. 1st and 2nd, still only 1 out. The Phillies have as many hits in this inning as they had in the ball game coming into this inning. Hits it hard, base hit for Dalton. John Kruk's being held at third. The bases are loaded. Darren Dalton gets his 3rd hit of the year off Ossenmacher. Well, he's done a great job of getting these lefties out, hasn't he?
Jim Lefebvre over in the Cub dugout trying to decide if he's going to give him one more shot at one more left-hander. He looks down in the bullpen. Only has Bob Scanlon throwing down there.
Milt Thompson's coming back to the dugout. Let's see what's going on here. Milt went back into the dugout. Let's see if somebody else is going to bat. Looks like Ricky Jordan's coming out.
And Jim Fregosi doing a nice job right here. Now he's going to send Jordan out to hit for Thompson. Now he forces Lefebvre's hand. If Lefebvre wants to go and bring Scanlon in, now he gets Jim Eisenreich, the one left-hander he's got on the bench, in the ball game where he wants him against a right-handed pitcher. So this is a little bit of the chess game going back and forth in the ball game right now. So Fregosi has made the first move by putting Jordan into the ball game. Now Lefebvre is going to have to make the next decision. What does he want to do and how does he want to handle his pitching?
While he thinks about it, he sends Lake out to the mound. That always gives the skipper a little extra time. Catcher, you go out there and slow things down a little bit. Well, this is interesting. Now, Ricky Jordan has been walked the last couple of times he's been used as a pinch hitter, but Jordan has hit in 2 situations this year where he's been called upon. And going back to the hitting streak he had at the end of last year, he has a 14-game hitting streak. Harry Wendelstadt says, let's go.
And this is only probably, if Lake is out there that long, this is only the first part of the delay. Here, Jim Lefebvre starting up the steps now of the dugout. So the second part of the act is being played out, and he's going to bring Scanlon in, and you can bet just about everything you got that Jim Fregosi is going to send Jim Eisenreich to the plate.
So we've got another pitching change. Ossenmacher works a 1/3 of an inning. He has not given up a run, but he's responsible for all 3 men on base. A 1/3 of an inning, he gives up 3 hits. And ex-Phil Bob Scanlon comes in, and we'll find out who he's going to face. It's going to be Eisenreich. Ossenmacher leaves. Scanlon comes on, and Eisenreich emerges. Ossenmacher, rocky outing for him.
And this situation right here is exactly why Mariano Duncan pinch hit earlier in the ballgame. Jim Fregosi, with only the one left-hander, wanted to be able to work himself into a position where he could use that one guy in a key situation where there are runners in scoring position to get himself back into this ballgame. So the first part has taken place. He's maneuvered himself to get to the situation where Eisenreich can hit. Now the execution needs to be done.
Ex-Phil Bob Scanlon, 26 years of age, out of Beverly Hills, California. Scanlon, this year with the Cubs, is appearing in his 5th ball game. He's taken one of the losses. He's 0-1 with a 6.75 earned run average. And batters are hitting .273 off Scanlon this year. They are loaded with Phillies, so Scanlon comes in quite a jam, and there's only 1 out in the inning. So this is an important outing for Scanlon. Against the Phillies last year, he was 0-2 with an earned run average of 6. And that is his lifetime record against the Phillies, 0-2.
Bob Scanlon, he relies very heavily on a split-fingered fastball that he throws. Again, we talked about pitchers pitching according to Wrigley Field. The split finger goes down, gets a lot of ground balls. The problem being, on a day like today, touch pitches with your hands that cold become difficult. We saw Ossenbacher stay away from this curveball. Let's see what Scanlon can do with that split finger.
Scanlon led the Cubs in saves last year, but he only had 14. And he only had 1 save prior to that in his entire pro career. Philly runners, John Kruk at 3rd, Hollins at 2nd, Darren Dalton at 1st, 1 out, and Eisenreich coming up for a big at bat. Eisenreich 1 for 9 this year, had knocked in a run, 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Eisenreich knocked in his run against the Astros in the opening series. Hits the ball in the air to right field, not that deep. Will Kruk tag? Sosa in position. Catches. Kruk starts down the line, stays put. The 2 outs in this inning have both been recorded on 1 pitch, and they've both been flies to right. And they've both been the first pitches that the pitcher made. It was Ossenmacher's first pitch when he got Morandini, and now it's Scanlon's first pitch to get Eisenreich.
Eisenreich got the pitch he wanted. He just got underneath it a little bit, had a good rip, was able to pull the ball, did everything he wanted to do. He just hit a little bit too much of the bottom part of the ball and popped it up into the air. But it was a good swing by Eisenreich, and I don't think you can be faulted for swinging that early in the count in that situation. He got the pitch he was looking for.
It's up to Chamberlain. Wes is 1 for 3 infield single. Takes a strike. Wes, the Chicago native, and a chance where he can have some family and friends cheering for him right here. 3-1 Chicago in the top of the 8th, and the Phillies with their first real opportunity of the day. Hard hit in the hole. Play to second, and he held it in time for the out. Oh boy. Phillies bid to get some more there, just falls short. The Phillies get 1 run, 4 hits, bases left loaded for the 2nd time today. Cubs lead 3-1. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel.
Major League Baseball Home Video presents Play Ball the Major League Way, hitting and base running. You'll master the art of hitting with the inside secrets and advice of Major League coaches.
Very important, you watch the ball all the way in.
Then you'll see Major League stars apply these same techniques. Plus, you'll master the art of base running, a step-by-step guide to give you the extra advantage on the bases. So learn winning baseball with Play Ball the Major League Way. Call this number to order hitting and base running, only available through this TV offer. Develop the fundamental skills to excel both on the bases and at bat with Play Ball the Major League Way. To order for just $19.95 plus $4 shipping, send check or money order to this address. Or use your credit card and call 1-800-255-9200. That's 1-800-255-9200.
April 20, 21, and 22, the Phillies play the Padres, followed by the Dodgers the 23rd and 24th, when fans 14 and under get a free card book, and Sunday, April 25th, for the Fanatic's birthday, when fans 14 and under receive a free baseball cap.
The California teams are headed for Veterans Stadium. It's the Padres, Dodgers, and Giants for the next homestand, which commences on Tuesday, April 20th. Padres in for 3 night games, each at 7:35. Dodgers for the weekend, starting Friday the 23rd at 7:35, Saturday at 7:05, Sunday 1:35, the Fanatic's birthday, and then the Giants for 2, Monday the 26th, 7:35, Tuesday the 27th, a business person special at 12:35. Call 463-1000 and order your tickets. Jim Eisenreich remains in the ballgame. He's the left fielder for the Phillies now. And taking over on the mound for the Phillies, right-hander Larry Anderson, making his 4th appearance. Larry has worked 3 innings, given up 3 hits and no runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. It's the first time Anderson has been in a ball game where the Phillies haven't had the lead. Well, it was quite a shot the Phillies just had there, Teak.
They were in a position, you know, where trying to do exactly what we were talking about in the top of the inning. They got the runners on, got the right guys to the plate. Just unfortunately, we're not able to get that, one more key hit. You can't really be too critical of them because they have to get the hits to get the inning going in the first place. But one more could have either tied the game or put them back into it.
Sosa. Sammy 0 for 3 this afternoon. He has struck out, lined out to left, and flied to the track in left. Randy Myers heating in the Chicago bullpen. Sosa takes a swing and a miss. They got him to be their closer, and this is definitely a close situation, a 3-1 Cub lead. Anderson always from the stretch. 1-1.
And almost always on the outside part of the plate.
On the ground to third. Hollins has it. Sosa's out, 1 down in the 8th for the Cubs. Steve Buechele will bat. He's 1 for 3 today. Buechele singled his last time up and then got thrown out at the plate. Trying to score the Cubs' 4th run. That was a big one to cut down. That was back in the 6th inning. 3-1 Chicago. We're now in the bottom of the 8th. The Cubs, aside from playing these Phillies in these games last weekend and this weekend, don't play another Eastern Division team until May 14th when they meet Pittsburgh.
The quirks of the new schedule. It's going to take a while to get used to that. It used to be you started in your division, you played in the other division, you went back to yours, and you went back and forth, and everybody was playing the same teams. But now you have people crossing divisions at different times of the year.
I don't think you can get used to it, and I don't think you're going to have to, because changes are being made so that this is likely to be the only year that it'll be precisely this setup. Pop up back of the infield. Juan Bell is ready. That's the 2nd out. Buechele is retired on a soft pop up. And Vizcaíno, who one way or another has reached base every time today. A fielder's choice, a walk, and a double. Actually, when he reached on a fielder's choice, it was the last out of the inning, but a technicality.
He reached, he just didn't get to stay.
Yeah, that's right.
Come visit, but don't move in.
Soft roller past the mound, changed directions on Bell, but he's there. Safe. That'll be a hit for Vizcaíno, and he can thank the mound for that one because the mound slowed it and changed its direction.
Vizcaino hits this ball back up the middle. Now Larry Anderson's falling off to the side. He can't get back to it. It hits the dirt part of the mound and kills it. Now Bell has to wait for it behind the second base bag. Gets rid of the ball on time, but Vizcaino just quick enough to beat the play to first base.
That's an accurate call. He was safe. Steve Lake is the batter. Dwight Smith in the on-deck circle to hit for Scanlon, because they're going to bring Myers into this game anyway. Lake is 0 for 2. He was walked intentionally last time up. Ex-Phil Lake, I notice on the stats, has already thrown out the 2 base stealers who tried to steal against him this year. He is always excellent in that category.
That is not an upset.
He's about 50% for his career, when 30% is about the average and considered, pretty good. He's at 50.
Yeah, and that considering, some of his career, he has not had the best pitching staffs in the world to work with as far as guys getting rid of the ball and getting it to him in a hurry. So he has a strong arm and he's accurate with it.
And another thing too is he's never been an everyday player, so that means that he's always coming off a few days in the dugout when he does that. Remember last year he joined the Phillies right at the beginning of the year. He had spent spring training with San Francisco. Pop up, playable by Dalton. Darren kicks the helmet. He threw it out in front and then kicked it, but he was able to catch the ball for the final out. Cubs in the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left, and we're going to the 9th with the Cubs holding a 3-1 lead.
May I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'll have a Coca-Cola.
You sure you want a Coke?
Yeah, I want a Coke.
Okay, pal.
How did you order a Coke? It tastes good.
Didn't care if it was a Coke. You just want
I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola. I'll just have a cola.
Need a drink, sir?
I'll just have a...
You'll just have a...
I'll just have a Coke.
Ooh.
Hear that, guys? A Coca-Cola. See ya, pal.
Oh.
45, eating 45 days, eating 46 per pound, $4,700 phone with time, young 47.5.
What'll it be, fellas?
Make it a Bud Light.
Sorry. This is the last one.
Well, I think I've been... I'll take that one.
What do you want to give for it? I'm a 2 and a 10. Give me 10, a 20 big. Give me 20 now, 30. Give me 30 now, 40 big. Give me 40 now, 50. Give me 50 now, 60 big. Give me 60 now, 70. Give me 70 now, 80.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Bud Light, please.
Sorry, boys. This is the last one.
Enjoy an early spring break for fun with the Phillies' first business person special. Compliments of Mellon PSFS. Tuesday, April 27th at 12:35 when the Phillies play the Giants with Barry Bonds and Will Clark. Reserve your tickets now. Call 463-1000.
Wrigley Field, Chicago. Cubs leading 3-1 as we go to the 9th. Randy Myers brought in to try to close this one out for the Cubs. Randy, 30 years of age, from Vancouver, Washington. Take a look at Myers' numbers this year. No 1-loss record and no earned run average. He does have 1 save. And the Phillies are going to bring some lumber off the bench and try to see what they can do about this. Todd Pratt makes his first appearance of the year. Todd, a backup catcher, is a good hitter. Pratt batted .283 for the Phillies a year ago with 2 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Todd Pratt to bat for Juan Bell. Pete Incaviglia in the on-deck circle to bat for Larry Anderson. Fights off a pitch there, fouls it. Todd Pratt, 26 years of age, from Boca Raton, Florida. That's where he lives now. This is one of those cases, you always, when you only have 2 catchers, you're reluctant to use that second one, but it is the 9th inning. They are down by 2 runs, and it's one of those things, well, we'll worry about defense later.
First order of business, try to get this thing tied back up or get ahead.
Todd Pratt got on the bus this morning to come out to the ballpark in a short sleeve shirt.
That's a man. That's a man.
That's a guy who forgot. That's a guy who forgot to pack. I mean.
He gets on the bus with a short sleeve shirt on, but before the game I see him on with one of those knee-length parkas on. So I think he realized his mistake a little earlier in the morning.
That's a man who came to his senses. Speaking of packing, Johnny Padres had a suitcase stolen last night.
And speaking of short sleeve shirts, Randy Myers is pitching in one.
Yeah, well, Pratt chases one. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Pratt. According to our records, Pratt has never faced Myers before, and that can be an experience. Got to say that the pitcher, of course, the pitcher always has the advantage, and especially so in that first hookup. Low ball 3. Incaviglia on deck. He's ready. Pratt into the outfield. Sosa giving chase. Can't get it. It's in play. Extra bases for Pratt. He goes to second and will hold there. And the Phillies have the 9th inning underway on a pinch double by Todd Pratt.
Sosa comes over the corner, just extends himself completely, just not quite able to get to that ball, and now he has to break down because that wall is right there. There's no room at all in foul territory in Wrigley Field. Sosa slams into that wall and then has to retreat and go back and get the ball. By that time, Pratt's easily into second base, and Larry Bowa, of course, with nobody out, held him there and did not take a chance of bringing him over to third base.
Here is Pete Incaviglia batting .294 with a homer and 5 RBIs, 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter. He's batting for Larry Anderson.
Just want to mention with Pratt too, something he did there that we saw him do a lot during spring training. With 2 strikes, he shortens his swing and will put the ball in play to the right side. Got himself a double with it.
Going inside, ball 1 on Incaviglia. Pete has faced Myers before. He's 1 for 3 off him in his career. Dykstra next, top of the lineup. Nobody out in the 9th inning. Cubs ahead 3-1. Inky chases one. He likes that pitch up. That went up and maybe a little away.
Well, what we have here right now is a little bit of power on power. Myers a fastball pitcher, Inky a fastball hitter. So there's not going to be a whole lot of tricking going on, I don't think, in this at bat.
Yeah, high heat. Myers saved a career high 38 games for San Diego last year. He was 2nd in the National League in saves and 3rd in games finished last year, 57. He was 6 for 6 in save situations against the Phillies last year. One and 2 on Incaviglia. Got a piece. Inky last year with the Houston Astros. Myers has to get that clay out. They've doctored the mound a little bit during the game. The field has absorbed some moisture since the start of the ball game. Ball out on strikes. Incaviglia took it. I guess he thought it was low, huh?
I think he thought it was on the inside. Turns around to Harry Wendelstedt. First down at home plate. He's not going to win that argument.
That's the first Philly batter to strike out since the 3rd inning. There have only been 3 strikeouts today. Take a look. Yeah, he thought it was inside. You're right. Well, that's the first out. Now back to the top of the order and Lenny Dykstra. Lenny has scored the only Phillies run today following leadoff single last inning. He's 1 for 3 plus a walk. 3-1 Cubs in the 9th.
What the Phillies are looking for right now is a way to get John Kruk to the plate. That's the whole goal right now. If you get John Kruk to the plate this inning, you've got a pretty decent chance in this ball game.
Out at second base is Pratt following his pinch double. Morandini in between Dykstra and Kruk. Strike. Oh, and look at Lenny.
They're saying that one was high.
Typically, those umpires would prefer. Lenny didn't exactly.
Yeah, that's usually the hand gestures are not going to be real high on their list of things that they want to see you do up there.
Lenny better be ready here.
Yeah.
One and two.
Although Harry Wendelstedt is one of the umpires in this league that you can, have some discussion with. There are others you can have no discussion at all with, but Harry is one of the veterans, been around a long time, and really nothing too much upsets him during the ball game. He's just back there doing his job.
Lenny puts it in play to left field. Derek May out number 2. Dykstra retired, so if we're going to get to Kruk, it's up to Morandini to get the Phillies there by coming through. Mickey's had an 0 for 4 afternoon as Lenny returns to the dugout. Morandini to face the left-handed pitching of Randy Myers. Mickey has lined to left, grounded to first, flied to left, and flied to right. Mickey representing the tying run. It's 3-1 Cubs. Myers first in the National League with the New York Mets. On the corner, it's a strike. 0-2 on Mickey. Ball game is over. The Cubs have beaten the Phillies as Randy Myers comes in to save it. And the Cubs remain the only team to have beaten the Phillies all year. It's 3-1 Chicago. You're watching Phillies baseball on Sports Channel.